This is the Dallas Morning News.
It's Monday, March 2nd. A mix of sun and clouds throughout the day with a high of 80. Clouds will linger into the evening with an overnight low of 62. The high will hover in the upper 70s for the remainder of the week, but rain is in the forecast beginning Wednesday with the potential for thunderstorms rolling into the weekend. Here are today's headlines. The weekend attack on Iran by U.S. and Israeli forces triggered worldwide protests, including in Dallas, where over 100 people gathered downtown Sunday to denounce the military action. People of all ages stood on the grassy knoll off Elm Street holding signs that read, "Human rights have no borders," and "We the people" means everyone, only a day after the U.S. and Israel started attacks on Iran. The event was organized by the Palestinian Youth Movement, the DFW Anti-War Committee, the DFW branch of the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and others. Children climbing trees nearby held a large Iranian flag between them as organizers moved through the crowd and handed out smaller flags for others to wave. Iran's supreme leader, 86-year-old Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed in Saturday's attack on military and government sites in the country. The country's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, said a new supreme leader would be chosen in a few days. As of Sunday afternoon, Iranian authorities said more than 200 people have been killed since the start of the strikes. 3 members of the U.S. military have been killed and 5 have been seriously wounded, according to U.S. Central Command. In other news, a Dallas woman who usually uses her social media accounts to feature videos of the different dogs that she walks is now using her platform to help others also stranded in Qatar following the weekend attack on Iran by U.S. and Israeli military forces. Over 2 weeks ago, 27-year-old Sarah Gaither departed Dallas for an African safari vacation. She decided to visit Doha, then catch a flight back home to Dallas. Her flight with Qatar Airways took off around 8 a.m. Saturday morning and had only been in the air about an hour before things went awry. Since she was already on her plane, she assumed she was safe and the flight would continue as scheduled. Instead, less than 30 minutes later, the pilot came on the intercom announcing that due to the unsafe airspace, they were returning to Doha. Once there, hundreds of people were stranded. The airstrikes forced airlines to scrap flights after Israel, Qatar, Syria, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, and Bahrain closed their airspace. By the time Gaither arrived at her hotel Saturday night, Doha was under a shelter-in-place order. About 2 buildings over from her, she said she started to see the missiles. Gaither does not know when she'll return to Dallas. Even if missiles stop flying over Qatar, it's unknown when air travel will be safe. Next up, 3 people are dead and 14 others were injured in a mass shooting early Sunday outside Buford's Bar on West 6th Street in downtown Austin. Among the dead was the suspected gunman, who was shot by officers. Federal officials have identified Indiaga Dianye as the suspect in the Central Texas mass shooting. Dianye has been a citizen of the U.S. since 2012 and is originally from the African nation of Senegal. Officials said Dianye was wearing clothing that said "Property of Allah" and had a design of an Iranian flag. The FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force has joined the investigation based on preliminary evidence found at the scene. One FBI official said in a Sunday press conference that while it is way too early to determine motivation, evidence found on the shooter and in his vehicle indicate a potential nexus to terrorism. And a group of women developers is planning a development in a South Dallas neighborhood near where many of them grew up. Women Breaking Ground is a collective of Black women developers and women in real estate who are working together in a field they say is male-dominated. The real estate industry doesn't have a lot of women, said Rhonda Pratt, a co-developer at Women Breaking Ground. The organization is putting more women in lead roles with a $130 million mixed-use development called Airborne at University Hills. The planned development will include retail space, multiple housing options, and a hotel. The 11-acre project near the University of North Texas Dallas campus is set to start this spring. The nonprofit development group will host a groundbreaking event on Arbor Day as a fundraiser for the project. Thanks for listening. For more on today's stories and the latest breaking news, visit dallasnews.com. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with more from the Dallas Morning News.